Hi, I'm HME News Executive Editor Mike Moran, and I'm here today with Cy Corgan, the National Sales Director for Retail Mobility for Pride Mobility Products. Today, Cy's going to talk a little bit about provider best practices when it comes to retail mobility. Pride has developed these over the years with their in-house marketing experts and outside, and also working with their provider customers. So Cy, give us some insights into provider best practices when it comes to retail mobility, because that's an area providers need to work on as reimbursement continues to go down a little bit.
Absolutely, and first of all, good morning, and thank you for the opportunity to speak to your audience and everything. Yes, retail mobility makes sense. We know there's a lot of challenges in the environment right now. We know providers have faced a 9.5% cut over the course of time. We know there's challenges on the horizon. We know competitive bidding is on the horizon. We know the potential of first month elimination of the purchase option. So retail mobility makes sense. It helps actually diversify the provider's base of business to bring in revenue streams from other areas.
Mm-hmm. How about, what are some of the best practices? I mean, if someone is looking to expand their retail sales, I mean, what should they do, or what are some things they need to do?
First of all, Mike, they need to make the commitment. Retail mobility is something where they need to really get involved in it. They need to make the commitment from a resource time frame. They need to make the commitments from having the individuals who are going to be focused on the retail segment of the business. They need to also look at their brand, what their business is all about, and they need to sell their brand. They need to get their brand out in the marketplace. That's very important, so that the individuals in the community look at them as the experts in the particular product categories that they carry. Also, they'd like to expand their product offering. Retail mobility is really about options to the consumers. They look to have selection and options when they're making a purchase decision, so it's important to diversify, to also look to upsell. For example, if you're selling scooters, it's important to have the Silver Star vehicle lifts and ramps, which also then helps expand the overall sale. Right. So even something simple as, you have lift chairs, canes, crutches, walkers, because individuals who are using those particular products also need many other products.
What are some of the ancillary products that go good with retail mobility sales?
It could be accessories, even for power mobility products, for example, scooters. It could be O2 holders, it can be baskets. For lift chairs, it could be incontinence pads, it can be cleaning kits. Again, threshold ramps, vehicle lifts and ramps are always great products to have. Someone who's in a home who's going from one room to the next may need a threshold ramp. So something as simple as that can make it much easier on a daily basis for the individual to maintain their lifestyle.
Yeah, but just having those in your showroom or your store isn't enough, right? You really have to understand how to put this all together.
Exactly, and it's important to educate and train your staff, and that's key. You can never stop training. Within all organizations, you have turnover, you have people being promoted, people moving on, so it's important that you invest in the time to train the individuals so they understand the products, the features and benefits of the product, so that in turn, when the consumer walks in, they have the confidence that the individual they're dealing with and they're asking questions of know what the products are all about and how it best fits their needs. From a retail standpoint, or really from most of the products, when an individual comes in, you really need to understand a day in the life of that individual, so you can understand how your products and services best meet their needs. But it even goes a step beyond that. You really need to work from a retail standpoint with the manufacturers that have a superior product at a reasonable cost. It needs to be economically sound and patient first for the provider themselves, so it makes sense with their business model, right. But then the patient obviously always comes first. Now, I used an acronym just a second ago, superior product at a reasonable cost. Really what that's saying is work with the provider who it may not be always the least expensive product up front, but it will be the least costly manufacturer to work with, so that any monies that might be saved in the acquisition of the product, you can potentially lose in added service charges and everything down the road. Yeah. So it's important to work with those manufacturers, which makes sense for your business, so you don't lose money or profitability as time goes on with that particular product.
Yeah, if you boost your retail sales, and you're buying products that require a significant amount of service, you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot a little bit.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Does it require a lot of marketing out there? Is there a marketing and sales approach to the community that would be new to providers as they move into this area?
It wouldn't be so much new to the provider base, but it's something they need to actively engage in. Yeah. It's things as simple as merchandising. Make sure your showroom is well merchandised, well lit. There's a lot of signage that it directs the consumer when they come in the front door, that you greet the individual when they come in the front door. And make sure the individuals that work for the company are also branded, so that they're also recognized, whether it's just a simple logo shirt or something along those lines, the drivers out in the community. Because oftentimes if the company is an O2 company, The driver is oftentimes the one who's seeing the individual on a very regular basis. So they represent the company to that individual, so make sure they're branded as well.
Is it expensive? I mean, providers, I think there are a couple areas where they might be a little wary about moving into retail sales. One, it's a kind of a foreign area to them. But is there much of a, certainly there's going to be some investment, but is it prohibitive?
No, not by any means. A lot of the principles and the best practices can be done very easily. It's things that providers are doing on a regular basis. It can be mailers. In fact, most providers with the database that they've accumulated over the course of time are an excellent way to data mine to your current customer base, educating them on new products that you've now introduced into your organization, and making sure they're aware of those products and services that you continue to expand upon over the course of time. And it could be bill stuffers, again, direct mail, it could be newspaper advertising, and it could be something as simple as a catalog that even your driver, for example, can drop off at the consumer's home when they're making an O2 delivery.
And I know Pride helps your provider customers with financing, and I'm sure other manufacturers do, and also just-in-time inventory. So it's not like you have to go out and buy a ton of inventory, because I think you guys can deliver most stuff in a day or two.
Absolutely. Inventory availability and lead times is extremely important to the providers and also to the customers. We know that the baby boom population, they want the product when they want it as quickly as they can get it, and oftentimes these purchases are a very time-sensitive purchase. So from a Pride Mobility standpoint, we have 5 distribution centers nationwide that we can get the best-selling products shipped out in 1 to 2 days. And again, that helps meet and fulfill the consumer's needs for the provider on a regular basis.
Yeah, and I know that's a priority amongst distributors and manufacturers across the industry to get that just-in-time inventory. So it really makes moving into these areas no economically daunting.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Well, Cy, thanks a lot. I really appreciate it.
No, I appreciate the time, Mike.
Okay, great.
Thank you.